Is Shedeur already a distraction for the Browns, Paul?
No, I think he's more of an inspiration. It looks like he's winning over his teammates. I mean, look, they're all in on what he's doing. Obviously, it seems like he's been nothing but positive in his short time there. I don't think so. Yeah, he's getting a lot of media attention because of who he is and who his dad is, of course, and the way he slipped in the draft. But I think he's doing everything he needs to do. He's shining light on the Browns organization. I'm actually going to watch the Browns this year. I want to see what they do.
That's not a given, right?
That hasn't been a given for some years now. But I'm actually going to watch and see, how he plays or if he's going to play. So I think he's doing nothing but shining positive light on the Browns organization. I don't see it as a distraction at all.
Which they could use. Look, if the Browns don't understand marketing and branding and personality, it's their problem, and they're really in the wrong business. They're in the entertainment business. And if they thought that this was going to be a problem, well, why the hell did you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round and the 5th round? That doesn't make very much sense, especially when one of them is named Shedeur Sanders. So, I mean, this is a good thing overall for the Browns. The Browns really either lucked out, which I think it's luck if you're taking somebody in the 5th round, or strategically, after taking Dylan Gabriel, made a great choice. This is a good situation for the Browns to be in. He is clearly already winning over his teammates, which is a great thing for the quarterback position, and especially as a rookie. So, look, whoever's going to win this starting job is going to deserve it because there's nobody in position to get the starting job right now. There's nobody being paid like a starter. There's nobody who's earned the starting job from a previous reputation standpoint. There's nobody that they've taken a big enough swing on that they've got to try and justify it. The job is wide open for whoever ends up winning it at the end of training camp.
I'm still having a hard time understanding how could he be a distraction? Like, what is he distracting? Like, what is he doing? He's being Shedeur.
Yeah.
That's all he's being Shedeur. It's not his fault that his teammates are following that natural leadership. That's just a natural leadership. He's not running around telling them to follow me, do this. Right. It's just natural leadership.
Well, for some people, it was arrogance, but...
Well, look, they're gonna say what they're going to say because they're going to hate on the father. That's number one. The fan base out there that are not Cleveland Brown, Shedeur Sanders, prime Colorado fans. And people are going to hear what they want to hear anyway. That's just the reality of it. But when I said this when he got drafted, I said this. Number one, Dave, I said, his teammates are going to love him and fall in line. They rooting for him to be successful. The fan base, they're starving for a quarterback still. They're going to root for him, and they're going to fall in line. And now you got other sports, other athletes in the city kind of following along, doing his whole watch deal, that's a big thing.
Baseball team.
Yeah, the baseball, that's a big thing, man. People just want to hate the hate. He's going to be, in my opinion, one of the most popular athletes in the state this season, not even close as far as, if he steps on that field and becomes a starting quarterback, which I predict he will by week 4, I predict he will by week 4, regardless if they took a quarterback in 3, regardless if Kenny Pickett was traded for, regardless if an old head like Joe Flacco's even there. See, Joe Flacco's there to be a mentor and a second eyeball in the room. Instead of the coaches being there, he can watch film with Shedeur. That's all he's there for. But people looking at him being drafted in the 5th round, Dave, feel like he doesn't have a chance to be the starter.
And yeah, I think it's
I have a PhD in quarterback observation. Trust me. He's the best quarterback in the room. I have a PhD in quarterbacking. And I say it here loud and clear. Nobody knows quarterback play like me. I don't give a damn what nobody say, because I done played with a bunch of them.
14?
He's better than Dylan Gabriel. He's better than Kenny Pickett. He's better than an old Joe Flacco that's going to give you 3-4 games but can't give you 17. He's better than that.
That's a valid point.
And Deshaun Watson is, he's rehabbing, so he's out in the back room somewhere. That's the way I look at it. What
do you think, Dave?
How do I say this without making anybody mad? Because I don't like the word distraction. Because I don't think Shedeur Sanders is doing anything wrong.
What is he doing?
Shedeur Sanders is handling himself great. But what I think is that what we're seeing right now played a huge role in why Shedeur fell as hard as he did. Because Shedeur is not doing anything wrong, but his presence, maybe distraction is not the right word, But it is a huge story, guys. We are doing an off-season segment on rookie camp. Did you guys happen to see over the weekend everything that went into this rookie camp? You had reporters there. First of all, you had people there that would never cover a rookie camp, from like national outlets to reporters who don't typically deal with football. To clue you in, if you don't know, and Keyshawn, you can back me up on this, rookie minicamp is basically about just getting guys onto the grass for the first time in 4 months, getting back in football shape, getting used to doing stuff. Half the guys at rookie camp have no future in the NFL. They invite guys like, yeah, come get a weekend in.
They need bodies.
Yeah, they need bodies to get through reps. But people are covering this like it is high-stakes stuff. Who had the better day handing off to the running backs between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders? Somebody even asked Kevin Stefanski, the head coach.
I'm sorry,
They
man.
asked him why Dillon Gabriel got to practice ahead of Shedeur.
I'm an instant evaluator. Go back to that clip. That right there that I just saw, that's what gets me excited. I'm watching him drop back, hit his back foot, and let it rip. To me, that's what I'm looking at.
Can I rebut that,
I'm
though?
looking at, look at that, bam.
The fact that we
Oh, my
have,
God.
the fact that we're forming takes off of rookie camp practices
This is what we have, Dave.
But that's why teams were reluctant to draft him, because rookie camp is a footnote for
here's
31
what
other
I would
teams.
say, though, Dave.
And for the Browns, we are dissecting mechanics of 7-on-7.
Why are
That's
we doing
not
that?
normal. That's all I'm saying.
Why are we doing that, though? Because he went in the 5th round when he
Yes.
shouldn't have gone in the 5th round.
I agree with that.
If he had gone where he was supposed to go, we wouldn't be breaking it up. We wouldn't be breaking it down like that. If Cam Ward, let's just flip it. If Cam Ward had gone from number 1 overall to the 3rd round, we would be talking about the Tennessee Titans and why did he go in the 3rd round. That's what we would do.
We'd be doing this with Shedeur regardless.
No, we wouldn't.
Drafted,
No,
because
we
he's
wouldn't.
Shedeur. Yeah,
no,
I think
we
we
wouldn't
would.
be doing
I
it
think
at
we
this
would.
level because we would already say he's anointed as the starting quarterback because he's the number 1 first-round pick for Cleveland. Had he even gone in the 2nd round, we probably wouldn't be doing it at this level. But because he slid into day 3, was it day 3?
It was day 3.
Yeah, day 3 into the 5th round, we're talking about it.
But that is why, and I think if Shedeur was a slightly lower profile player, somebody would have taken him on the 2nd day of the draft because he was that talented. But when you know that this guy is not guaranteed to step in and be your starter, I guarantee you teams were sitting around their draft rooms going, do we really want Speak arguing about our rookie minicamp? Like, do we want all of these
If they
outlets
worried
being...
about
yeah,
us,
you do
if they
want
worried about
people
us, there's
arguing
something
about
wrong
your
with them.
rookie minicamp.
Football-
You're in the entertainment business.
That's not how coaches see it, Joy.
And that's
I know
why
you're
their
right.
ass is going to be fired. They're going to be working up here with us sitting next to you.
It is a lot of spotlight that goes along with a guy who's not guaranteed to start. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. And wah. You need butts and seats.
Right.
You need jerseys.
But he
sold.
can actually play.
I agree with
That's
that.
the difference.
It's true.
Regardless to what you think about his dad, what you think about his family, what you think about his number being retired at Colorado, he can play football, man.
I won't be surprised
He can
if
play
he
football.
starts for the Browns this year. I don't know if it'll be as quickly as week 4, but
Well, I think it will be.
I won't be surprised.
It might be sooner than that, but I think week 4. And I could be a game or 2 off. I'll take that.
I am excited to see it, but I don't blame the Browns coaches if they're like, I'd really love to just go through the install without it being a national storyline. And
They're
that
not
is
gonna-
what...
they're not gonna go through it without
Guys,
it being a national
No
story.
other team in the league is putting this kind of emphasis
No
on
other
rookie
team has
camp.
Shedeur Sanders.
And that's part of what goes with it. Well, like I said, none of this is Shedeur's fault. He's handling it like a pro. I thought his quotes about all of this have been great. He's doing fine. The issue's not with him, but the spectacle that goes with him, I guarantee you it's a conversation that teams had, and I think it's at least
shame
part
on them, man.
of why he fell in
Shame
the
on
draft.
them. Shame on them. And them same dudes gonna get their asses fired.
Well, that's a certainty in the
They're
NFL.
gonna get
It's not
fired.
for
I'm
long.
telling you, because if you're worried about his personality, or you worried about his swag and all of those things, he's not the right guy for you any damn way. Because you can't talk to him. You don't understand in the room how to get to him and get him to do certain things. We just talked about with George Pickens. There are certain players in these leagues, you have to be able to have confidence that you can get through to them and communicate with them. So what happens is I always tell Joy and I tell Paul, which is different probably in the NBA than it is in the NFL. You got some dude who ain't never played, okay, driving his boss around. All of a sudden, he gets elevated up. You like that, driving his boss around? Elevated and kicked up to another level. And the first thing he says was, I don't really like him. His chain is too big. I don't really like him. Look at who's he with. I don't really like him because he came in and he right before he walked to the door, he took his headset off. Okay, what does that have to do with him playing football? He looked you in the eyes. And you had a conversation with him. I know because I dealt with it. Let me tell you something before I give it back to you, Joy. I was the #1 overall pick, well documented.
Yes.
But I had 2 guys that selected me. The late Dick Haley, who orchestrated many of those teams for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was our general manager with the New York Jets. And I'm talking about the Hall of Fame players, all them dudes in Pittsburgh. And I had a guy who was a quarterback named Shaq Harris. Black man, strong arm, came from Grambling, big time. He knew how to talk to me and get me to do certain things. There's another person, and I'll name him, Dave Shough, Cincinnati Bengals head coach. Mm-hmm. He got fired, okay, eventually. But you know what he was telling people? This guy here. No, seriously.
There's a lot of guys that sound like that in the NFL.
This guy, he's just, he's a hot dog. This is what he told somebody.
Hot dog.
Like he literally told somebody that. Coach speak.
Coach speak.
People was looking at him going, well, he'll be gone. He got next year gone. So you get that. And with Shedeur, they better understand him because his teammates do.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
That's
the important part.
Of course it's a good point. I always have good points.
Well, Derek Carr announced his retirement this week, leaving an open spot for the Saints starting quarterback. Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener are still on the roster from last season, but all eyes are now on rookie Tyler Shough, who New Orleans drafted in the 2nd round this year. All right, Dave, you're a big college guy.
That I am.
So
had a lot of opportunities to watch Tyler Shough.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about Tyler Shough. Can he be the quarterback for the Saints week 1?
I don't like to predict that a guy drafted in the 2nd round can be the guy right away, but this is why Tyler Shough is here. Because it's a surprise that Derek Carr retired, but the Saints are not surprised that he's not available. Like, we've known that, right? The shoulder injury has been a story. It came out well before the draft. The Saints went into the draft with the knowledge that Derek Carr might not be playing for them, even if they didn't know he was going to retire. Tyler Shough is what you call a ready-made player. I think the selling point on this guy is that he's closer to his ceiling than a lot of guys that are coming out of college. And the reason for that is because he was in college for a long, long time. This is 27. One of my favorite stats from this year's draft. Tyler Shough was Oregon teammates with Justin Herbert.
Wow.
Justin Herbert's he's been on his 2nd deal. He's been a name in the NFL. He got drafted in 2020. They did the draft remote the year Justin Herbert came out. That's how long he's been out. And Tyler Shough played with him.
Usually considered to be a negative to be in college that long.
I agree. But, the COVID years and all the transfers and stuff, I think that changes it. But I think if I'm trying to sell you on Tyler Shough, you're right. It is a negative because guys who are that like that, they typically go earlier. But you're 26 years old. You played 7 years of college football. Odds are you are closer to a finished product than a guy who's 19, 20, who's barely played college football. Yeah. Is that good enough to be a star quarterback? I don't know. But I actually think the Saints have a better supporting cast than you might give them credit for. Chris Olave, when he's healthy, is a hell of a receiver. Rashid Shaheed, one of the best speed receivers in the league. They're both coming back. The Saints have invested a ton into their offensive line. Both of their last 2 first-round picks are offensive linemen. Alvin Kamara's still got some gas in the tank. And Kellen Moore, I love this too. Talk about a guy who's got experience working with quarterbacks who weren't drafted highly. Like, his big 2 claims to fame are Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts, who are probably the most successful quarterbacks in the league right now who weren't drafted in the 1st round. So this is very familiar territory for Kellen Moore in New Orleans. Does that mean any of it's going to work? I have no clue. But this is why Tyler Shough is here. I think he's ready for that opportunity, or as ready as you could expect a guy who's not a top 10 pick to be. Put it that way.
So glad we didn't show that clip when he said,
Not his finest moment. I know exactly what you're talking about.
highlight, yeah.
Not his finest moment, but hey, it's a new start
Well,
in New Orleans.
he'll get his opportunity. Paul, were you anyone ever call you a hot dog?
I don't even know what that means.
You know, hot dogging, like
Like a
Yeah,
me
like-
first kind of guy.
Like hogging the
first.
ball. Oh yeah.
me first, whatever. That Paul Pierce, we don't want him. Let's let him drop to 10.
Maybe when I was younger, but not in the NBA. No,
no,
that's
that's just a Keyshawn thing.
a Keyshawn thing. Give me the damn ball.
Yeah, the book's right behind you.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.